If somebody else is going to have to be your caretaker when you're older, does that suck? Do you want your children to suffer having to take care of you when you're older because you didn't take care of yourself now? I doubt you do, right? But let's try to clean up our diet. If we can clean up our diet, so many things in the world open up for you, right? Because the first thing that happens when you have a heart attack, the doctor says you need to change your diet. They don't say that to you until you have a heart attack, but after a heart attack, you need to change your diet. And then people start changing their diet. Well, why don't we change our diet before the heart attack? Why don't we live our best lives by having the most energy, building the best businesses? And here's the kicker. Yo, welcome back to the RE Agent Podcast, the #1 real estate agent podcast in the world. I am your host, Vikram Deol. Today, I am going solo, and I love this topic. I love talking about business and money, but I've had so many clients over the years. I've had so many team members over the years that have lost so much money because of this one thing. So without further ado, let's jump into it. What's this one thing that so many people have lost so much money on, Vikram? Vikram, what are you talking about? What are you smoking? Listen, y'all. If you do not take care of your health, if you do not take care of your body, if you do not take care of you, one, I don't care how much money you make, you're not successful. Two, you are not going to have the energy you need to run the business that you want to create. It is going to cost you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every single year. Let me break this down. You've been lied to for the last 50 years, depending on how old you are, maybe 40 years, maybe 30 years of your entire life. You've been told your whole life that things are genetic. You've been told your whole life that you don't have control over things. You've been sold by the big food industries with their fancy marketing and their food scientists that create products that are for you to consume, overconsume, reconsume, so that they can have huge corporate profits. I'm sorry to say that we have all been screwed by Kraft macaroni and cheese as little kids. Don't get me wrong, I love Kraft macaroni and cheese. I would make it by the boxful. I loved waking up, rolling out of bed as a college kid, grabbing my bong, taking a rip, eating the Domino's pizza that was 2 for $5 or some crazy thing at 10 o'clock in the morning before class. I loved my Hot Pockets. I loved Cookie Crisp cereal. I loved all of that. But we got to start asking ourselves, how did our nation get so unhealthy? How did we get so, how did our family get so unhealthy? How did we become the person with chronic illness? We followed what was sold to us that's just heart healthy. So I'm going to break it down, because if you can't tell by the excitement in my voice, being healthy is a passion of mine. Because I've been fat and I've been real skinny. I've had tons of energy and I've had zero energy. I've had points where I was so weak physically that my mental game suffered. I was depressed. I had some things going on in my life. I lost 30 pounds, not because I needed to, not because I wanted to. In a course of maybe 30 days, and everything in my body stopped working, including my eggplant at the age of early 30s. And that sucked. And when I had my testosterone checked out by my dad, he said, you got the testosterone of like a 90-year-old dead woman. It was like 50 or 70 or something like that. That is not normal. Our testosterone levels as men shouldn't be that low. You've been sold to eat a chemically created, food processed, out of a bag that lasts forever diet. And I don't blame you, because the amount of effort it takes, like if I didn't have my dad as my mentor, I probably would not know what I know now. And so I don't blame you that you don't know the things that you don't know. But if you eat out of a bag and you look at the label and you look at the ingredients and you don't understand it, there's a reason why they made it like that. They don't want you to understand it. They don't want you to get it. They don't want you to be educated, because then you're not a good consumer. They want to keep you dumb. They want to keep you confused. They want to keep the news telling you to do this, and then they tell you to do that, and then they tell you to do this, and then they tell you to do that. And here's what it comes down to. Processed foods are going to kill you, right? And it happens slowly, and it takes time. And it starts with, oh, I have a little bit of a cramp over here. Oh, I have a little bit of pain in this shoulder. Oh, my knees hurt. Oh, my hands are a little swollen. Oh, I have chronic inflammation. Oh, I have, go to see the doctor. Oh, I'm always getting sick. And then you start taking pills. You take one pill that counteracts another pill, which you need another pill for, and you need another pill for, and you need another pill for. And it just never stops. And every time you take an antibiotic, it not only kills the bad bacteria, which makes you feel a little icky, it kills the good bacteria, which actually keeps you alive. Every time you take a pill to kill your bacteria, it takes your body anywhere from 6 to 12 months, depending on, and it could be longer depending on what your body situation is like, to regrow your microbiome. If you don't have a healthy gut, you have what is called leaky gut. I know we're getting into some weeds here, so I want to keep it really high level. But if you don't understand, you're not going to want to make the change. So your microbiome is what eats all the bad stuff and the good stuff and separates the nutrients and puts all the good things where it needs to go and the bad things where it needs to go. And it lets you go to the bathroom and do the things and blah, blah, blah. Well, it also keeps you from being depressed. If you don't have good microbiome, let me turn off my WhatsApp here. If you don't have good microbiome, because the antibiotics kill it, you go into depression. Now you need antidepressants, which don't work. And then you lose your energy, and then you lose your will. And there you lose your business. You lose your drive. You lose your energy. You lose the ability to do the things you used to do just a couple years ago, or maybe even a couple of months ago. And we have this chronic illness. And let me tell you, chronic illness kills sales, right? Like if you just want to look at this from a purely financial standpoint, chronic illness kills sales, right? If you're ill, you don't work. If your body's in pain, you don't work. You don't want to work. You feel like crap. You don't want to do the things you need to do. So here's a couple of easy things to cut out of your diet. Anything that says heart healthy on the label, they paid the Heart Association of America a lot of money to get that label. 90 to 95% chance it's probably full of shit you don't want, right? 90 to 95% chance it's full of things you don't want. So anything that has that on there, you should probably just straight up say, wait a minute, what cereals say heart healthy? Because I can tell you there's not a single cereal in a box that's heart healthy, right? And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to eat crow, but I don't believe it is. So 90 to 95% of anything that says heart healthy, including oils, are not healthy. 2, get rid of all seed oils. Cook with butter, cook with coconut oil, right? Cook with lard, stuff that our grandparents used to use. It's very healthy and it's not going to kill you. The sugar industry paid a lot of money in the 70s and 80s to make cholesterol the bad guy. But you know what's funny is that there is science, there are studies, independent studies out there that show that cholesterol doesn't actually kill you. And if you think about a hamburger or a steak, right, everybody says red meat's bad. Oh, Vic, red meat, you eat so much red meat. Well, one, I'm 41. I feel amazing. The only reason I have joint pain and pain in my body is because I try to kill myself every time I work out. I look better than my friends that are in their 30s. I have more energy than they do. Okay, fine, I don't have kids. Let's throw the variables out there. But I feel different. And I've lost weight and I've naturally boosted my testosterone. I still have some hair and I feel mentally more stable. I don't have the brain fog. So when you eat a steak or a hamburger, what do you typically have with it? Well, you have French fries and then you get the sides of this and the sides of that, the French fries, which were cooked in the really bad oil, right? That kills you. You have a bunch of other things. You have the bread, you have all the mayonnaise and the ketchup and the mustard, which is all processed. But yet none of that's demonized, but having a steak is, which is one of the most nutrient dense things you can eat. I know, it's crazy, right? Call me an earth hater because I like to eat steak. I like to eat grass-fed steak because that's healthier, right? Where the animal actually gets to move around, eat the bugs, eat the grass, get the sunlight, not eat the feed that American burgers are good. All right. So make sure you eat stuff that is going to actually be healthy for you, which is probably stuff that doesn't say it's healthy for you. It just is, right? People don't typically have to tell you they're healthy. They just are healthy. The louder the packaging is, probably the worse it is for you. The more they have to say, look at me, probably the worse it is for you. So we're going to get rid of a couple things, right? We're going to get rid of processed foods. We're going to get rid of all the seed oils, right? We're going to get rid of things in a bag that are brightly colored, right? We're going to get rid of that stuff. What should we replace it with? We should get rid of a lot of the sugar, right? Most people, okay, just before you guys cancel me, most people that live the normal American lifestyle do not need to eat anywhere near the amount of carbs that they eat, or for that fact, they don't need to eat as much as they do eat. Breakfast is a construction of the food industry. They wanted you to have breakfast. They want you to have 5 or 6 meals a day. They want your factory of your stomach to never turn off so that your body's always processing food. Why? Because that's how they make money. They tell you that if you want high metabolism, eat more. It's actually false. If you want high metabolism, eat more protein, right? Eat more protein. Your body has to work harder to digest the protein. But if you want higher metabolism, eat once a day. Let your body rest. Your factory is always in motion. Your factory is always trying to digest something. It doesn't rest. It can't heal. So let your body rest by eating bigger. Just have a big lunch and nothing else, right? Stop making food an emotional thing. Food is a fuel, just like gas is for your car. You don't drink the gas. Your car isn't like, oh, I really want this gasoline today. Your car is like, I just want gas, right? Same thing. Gas for your car is food for your body. Stop romanticizing about it. Stop being emotional about it. I know it's not easy. And I'm not saying don't have the ice cream once in a while. I'm not saying don't have the dessert. I'm not saying don't have a little bit of stuff here and there, but I'm talking about like 95% of the time, eat really whole food. And then 5% of the time, you can do whatever you want and you're going to feel better. And when you eat that other food, you're going to notice the next day your hands are swollen. If I have pizza or if I have ice cream, the next morning I wake up, my hands are swollen. Why? Because my body is rejecting it. It's telling me, hey, you had fun last night. Cool, good for you. But let's not make this a habit. You shouldn't wake up with swollen hands every day, y'all, right? Ladies, cellulite. A lot of cellulite is there because, unfortunately, your diet, your body can't get rid of the toxins in your body, and it turns into things that aren't very sightly. Adult pimples, right? People say, oh, it's my hormones, it's this, it's that. Yeah, of course your hormones are jacked up. If you're eating poor quality food and your body can't get rid of the toxins and there's so many chemicals in it, it comes out. Your body's showing you, hey, we need to make a change. And the change isn't go get some acne cream. The change isn't, oh, go get yourself on a pill. The change is what you put in your mouth. Because if food can kill you, food can cure you, right? If food can kill you, food can cure you. Now, we're going to get rid of processed foods. We're going to get rid of seed oils. We're going to get rid of the stuff in the bags. We're going to get rid of sugary substances. You also need to be careful about the sugar-free. All right, sugar-free. I don't know. I can't explain it all to you, but sugar-free causes a reaction in your body that is just like you're about to eat sugar because your body doesn't know sugar-free from sugar. It's just a marketing ploy. It's actually better if you're going to have one or the other. I'd probably say go with the sugar. Right? Go with the sugar versus a sugar-free because at least that's not a chemical that was created to make your taste buds tricked. All right? Energy drinks, juices, too much fruit, carbs. Like you guys, we need to limit that stuff. That's called filler food, right? That's called filler food. And the reason why companies love it is because it's super cheap to produce and there's an abundance of it, right? It's super cheap, super easy, and they can make an abundant amount of money on it, right? So let's get rid of the filler food. So what do we replace it with? Well, you want to think about whole foods, right? You want to think about foods that are whole, right? That came from the ground, that eat the ground, that live off the ground, right? You want to think about cows, right? The way that a cow works is that they eat the grass, which is super healthy, and they're very healthy for you. And you want to start thinking about like eating a lot of the cow, like different parts of it. And you want to think about getting fat in your diet, because fat doesn't make you fat. Fat actually helps you stay healthy, lubricates joints, helps you pass a stool, right? Gives you energy, right? And if you guys don't believe me, I fast when I cycle a lot of the times. If I'm going on my own, I did a, 30-mile bike ride, completely fasted, and my energy was fine the entire time because my body's fat adapted. So you actually burn fat when you eat fat. Crazy, right? We want to get whole foods. We want, if you're going to do fruits, right? You can do fruits, but just, you don't need to overindulge on fruits. Again, too much sugar in the body is hard for the body to get rid of. And unless you're an extreme athlete, which most people aren't, the amount of sugar you need is far less than what you think. Now, I'm not going to tell you what kind of diet to do. I'll tell you my recommendation that I do. I do a carnivore keto diet. I eat very few vegetables, if rarely, if any. I take a lot of supplements. I eat, the kidney, the beef liver, things of that nature. I know it's not most people's cup of tea, but that's what I do. My buddy Cody, the co-host of our podcast, he's down 30 pounds because he went keto, right? He went keto and he started to do some exercise, right? I would tell you that most of the weight he's lost up to this point is diet related. The weight he loses from now until the end of the month is going to be more because of the exercise, putting on muscle, right? Putting on good lean muscle. But you need to have a strong body for yourself. So foods that are good in fat, foods that are good proteins, right? Get rid of those oils, right? Get rid of those oils, get rid of the processed foods, eat real food, right? And like I say, I'm a carnivore. Eggs are great. Avocados are great. Those have minimal negative side effects. If you're going to eat a meat and you're just, you can't get steak or you can't get a burger, can't get beef, chicken's great, but a lot of chicken is given really poor feed as well. Unfortunately, in the US, it is what it is right now. So you have to be a little bit more discerning about where you buy your food potentially, right? But let's try to clean up our diet. If we can clean up our diet, so many things in the world open up for you. And you can you can actually get off of antibiotics just by changing your diet, right? Because the first thing that happens when you have a heart attack, the doctor says you need to change your diet. They don't say that to you until you have a heart attack, but after a heart attack, you need to change your diet. And then people start changing their diet. Well, why don't we change our diet before the heart attack? Why don't we live our best lives by having the most energy, building the best businesses? And here's the kicker. If you got a child or if you are an influence to somebody else, you are an example to them. If somebody else is going to have to be your caretaker when you're older, does that suck? Do you want your children to suffer having to take care of you when you're older because you didn't take care of yourself now? I doubt you do. I know this is not real estate related, but let me tell you, your health is your wealth, and the healthier you are, the wealthier you'll be. So take care of yourself now so that your future self can live the best life and you can be around for all of those people who want you to be around for another Christmas, another Thanksgiving, another Valentine's Day, another birthday, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.